My name is Pablo Suarez. Most of my time I work with a global team of the Red Cross family called the Red Cross Red Crescent Climate Center. I'm in charge of research and innovation. And I'm here to share with you some of the things that we did in Togo, combining new things like artificial intelligence and financial innovation. But more importantly, to try to plant in this event some ideas about how we could think social protection systems differently. Instead of waiting until the end to have a conversation, I'm going to start with a conversation, an unusual one. I'm going to show you something here when I push the button. It's going to be a little bit cryptic. It's going to be a little bit confusing. Your task is very simple. First, look at the new thing. Self-organizing groups of about 3, can be 2, can be 4. Have a conversation. What 3 things do you recognize? What are they? What do they try to communicate? And, more importantly, explain what, in your opinion, they mean together. There isn't a correct answer, but you have to formulate a hypothesis. You will self-organize in groups of about 3, and then you will talk. And then I will say, after 90 seconds exactly, 3, 2, 1, stop! And when I say stop exactly, you will all stop talking because I will start talking. Are you ready? If you're not, doesn't matter. Here it comes. Good luck. 10 seconds. And 3, 2, 1. Stop and silence, please. Thank you. So, I look forward to hearing more about your thoughts. In short, what do you recognize here? Machines. Machine power. What do you recognize here? DNA, what makes us who we are. We're humans. These two seem to be opposite. What do you see here? Yin and yang. What seems to be opposites are actually oneness. How can we think of this in the context of social protection? Now let me take you somewhere very different. What creature do you recognize in this photo? It's a hippopotamus. The hippopotamus is on the Nambeto hydropower dam crest. This is the crane that is used to lift the gigantic piece of metal when it needs maintenance, the turbine that turns spinning water into electricity. The hippo went to graze to new lands, looking for food, looking for something needed. That's where we are now. We are a community of practitioners, researchers, funders, curious minds wondering how to go into a new territory, such as artificial intelligence, where things may be good for us, but we don't know. Now, interestingly, the director of operations of the dam, Mr. Pascal, told us that it's more likely to find a hippopotamus on the Nambeto Dam than it is to find the Red Cross. This is Mr. Joaquin from the German Red Cross, Mr. Pascal from the hydropower dam, Jean and myself from the Red Cross Red Crescent Climate Center, Madame Mathilde from the Togo Red Cross provincial branch. You can see that I'm already thinking, what can we do in the next 5 years here? Togo, West Africa, Mono River, dam, reservoir. The dam is designed to hold water in the reservoir. The more water, the more hydropower. Electricity. By design, it cannot stop all water and make all water go through the dam. It would be a very expensive piece of cement. So by design, every 3 to 15 years, too much water comes, it cannot go through the metal, so it overspills, either intentionally or abruptly. When that happens, if there's anyone in the floodplain, they will get flooded. And if the flood is bigger, there's more flood. Is there more people in the floodplain, there's a bigger flood. And when that happens, we have a lot of work. This is a Red Cross document called the Disaster Relief Emergency Fund. It's when money needs to go from Geneva to a country because rapid financial help is needed. There's an emergency. Oh, by the way, I didn't mention that I'm going to talk about two overspills. September 22nd, 2010, and September, about the same time, in 2016. So, draft. October 28, 2010, the document says that we're going to send $250,000, roughly, because there's been rains during October 11 to 17, worsening the flood that was already there, and so this money will be used for operations over the coming 3 months. The money arrives, takes a little while with bank transactions, then you do the procurement, then you load the truck, then the pickup truck goes to the place that is flooded, so it's complicated to get there, then you mount the shelter, then the people come to a shelter. Of course, do you notice anything between this date and the date I showed before? How much time elapsed? Do you remember the date? It was September 20-something. If you wait for the disaster to happen, the fastest you can do is inevitably too late. We could accelerate, but chances are you will be helping too late. This is the usual story. Normal day, then there's some signals that it can get flooded, then maybe it doesn't get flooded, or maybe it does. When it does, people need help. Then you look for money, then you get the money, then you turn the money into what's needed, then the help arrives with luck, not too late. And if you're really anticipatory, you may have a flood contingency plan that says what to do to help who, where, when, with what resources, and so on. What we're proposing from the Climate Center with partners, including some of you, is an innovation that we're calling forecast-based financing for early action. What does it look like? If there's an early warning of a probable extreme event like a flood, before the extreme event happens, if the warning exceeds a certain threshold of risk, start running. Have a plan on what to do, where, when, based on that. It's not the same to expect a Category 5 hurricane than to expect a Category 2 hurricane. Have the resources, including money, ready for deployment, and if you do the right thing in this precious window of opportunity, there will be less people at need, and you will need less money for response. It's a pretty simple concept that has not been done much. Now, what we are trying to do in Togo and elsewhere is to first improve our ability to notice, to observe natural systems, social systems, how they relate. Data needs to be integrated, and digital tools allow us to do so. You don't need to observe the river level on a piece of paper, then tomorrow, same piece of paper, and after a month, send the paper to the capital city. There cannot be an early warning system with that. But if we create digital platforms that compile, process, and communicate what we know, then maybe if there's a chance of an overspill or any other reason why there's possibly a forecast of a flood downstream, then if the risk is high enough, maybe we should take early action. It's very simple, but guess what? The German government, when we proposed this, very understandably, the humanitarian people said, well, but we do a response. Show us people in need, we give you the money. If the forecast doesn't materialize, we're spending taxpayer money, and we have no evidence that it was good. And the other teams were saying, well, I am not about disasters, I'm about building schools, education, setting systems, this is not emergency. So the German government kindly created a new window within its mechanisms to be able to support us to do this. Thank you, German government. So what did we do? If you look at data about rainfall, about soil saturation, about how much water in the river, about how many people need help, and you, a human, look at it, guess what? It's not very easy to be able to make sense of it. If you have 3 years of data, like we have in this particular part of Togo, you could say, okay, let's wait 27 years until we have 3 decades to make a statistical model. Can we wait almost 3 decades to help? That wouldn't be fair. Or you could get a computer model that is based on the simultaneous differential equations that represent how raindrop becomes water in the little stream, water in the big river, water in the reservoir, water overspilling, water flooding people. That's about $50,000. So what we did was to wonder, can we use new technologies that can help us make decisions? And fortunately, with Herman Dolder and with funding from the World Bank, GFERR and others, we harnessed a new approach, which is to use machine learning to try to forecast flooding under conditions of severe data scarcity and funding scarcity. And we created FUNES. For those of you who know Jorge Luis Borges, you may know why. I can tell you, otherwise it's an entertaining story. This machine learning concoction, FUNES, combines human and computer capabilities to notice what's happening and to anticipate when the flood may come. In 2016, there was a moment where this was visible in the digital integrating platform, a web interface. Here's the dam. Thank you. 2 or 3? 2. The dam, the pluviometers, the village of Ruicongi expect flooding with 55% probability over the next 72 hours. And the computer sent a message saying, this time, this location, expect floods. You, people receiving this message, pre-agreed to standard operating procedures, shelter, water, warnings, including through the radio, Red Cross invited to the radio station, explaining what we know, talking in real time with the communities, where the volunteers are activating the flood forecast contingency plan, what to do. It's a sunny day. Look at the shadow. Yeah? People don't know the water is likely to come. And they built their own shelter on elevated ground. They received from the Red Cross and government entities support, like shelter, water purification, cholera kits, and so on. All that happened before the flood. It's a very simple idea. Without our self-learning algorithm, it wouldn't have happened. So, by the way, we received a Global Innovation Award. Here is the Prime Minister of the United Arab Emirates bestowing the award. So, things I want to highlight. Social protection can help make more of this happen. Can you open the valve when you know that the hazards are changing and you may get more drought, more flood, more something? Price signals, satellite imagery. Are there more people in the floodplain? The Rohingya. You don't need to wait 4 years until the next update. Are people more vulnerable? Is there some kind of disease going on? Can you anticipate what you have, what you need? Is there a gap? When do we trigger financing? Can we use blockchain? Can we use smart contracts? Can we learn? Can we reimagine? As a humanitarian worker, I've always been a math geek. But since I started working with people who do artificial intelligence, they are so original in their thinking that they have contaged me with more creative explorations. So we can be better if we interact with people who know stuff we don't, even if it seems irrelevant. Time is up. If you want, you have 30 seconds to go back to your trios and come up with either one comment or one question. Self-organized, 30 seconds, ready, set, go. Sorry, was it
Yeah.